Hello, welcome to episode 124 of the Epic Film Challenge 2, 1001 Movies You Must See Before You Die. 1946, It's a Wonderful Life. This is one of those films I've known about my entire life. It's my nan's favourite film, and I've seen bits and pieces of it growing up, but I'd never seen the full thing, hadn't even seen close to the full thing. Last Christmas Eve I went to see it in the cinema on this pier with my nan, and it was a great experience, and I suddenly was like, wow, this is why everyone talks about this film. And so about a week ago I showed it to Connie for the first time. She hadn't seen it, and
it's been a week already.
Yeah, and it's just one of those timeless classics that I think, you know, if anyone were to watch this and say, oh, it's rubbish, I'd just be like, you what? You know, like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just a fantastic film. We have James Stewart in the lead role, playing a guy called George Bailey, and I love the beginning of the film where we have these like galaxies in the universe talking to each other.
So strange to have in the 40s, isn't it?
Yeah.
I was just thinking, wow. And I actually leaned forward and started like laughing and enjoying it, you know.
And we have like, I mean, the opening of the film kind of ties in with the ending of the film, but basically we have this kind of this angel who has to go and help George Bailey, but before he can do that he needs to learn about George Bailey's life. So as he's learning about George Bailey's life and being shown it, we get shown it too, and we start from the beginning. We see him as a young boy and the things that he gets up to, and they say in the narration, make sure you pay attention because this is all going to come back later on. And then we see him as a young man, played by James Stewart. And I think the film covers about 26 years, so we get to see, you know, this life of this man, this boy, as he grows up, and he's a dreamer. He wants to go out and explore the world. And his father owns this small bank and loan company in the small town where the film is set. And his whole life he's trying to get away. He's trying to get away and do something with his life, and he always gets pulled back by tragedies, by these unfortunate circumstances, and he keeps getting trapped, stuck in his hometown, doing something he doesn't want to do. And there's a love story and a girl, and it goes on like that. I don't know what more to say about it really, in terms of the plot. But what do you think about the film, just general kind of?
I loved it. I had moments where I actually laughed, like out loud.
Yeah, it's a
not
funny.
Not like laughing to the point of crying, but just like chuckling. You know?
Yeah.
It's a chuckling kind of movie. Enjoyable, like
insanely enjoyable.
Yes, it was really well made. I didn't feel like it dragged at all, even though it's pretty long.
Yeah, it's over 2 hours. Yeah, for its time.
It felt like its time, but it was okay. Like I wanted it to be that long, you know.
Yeah.
I wanted all those scenes to be in there, and you know I love James Stewart.
Yeah, he's one of my favourite actors.
It's a shame that he's not around, you know, to.
Well, you say that, but there's such a massive career of films that he's made for us to watch and enjoy, and we've only just scratched the surface, really.
Yeah,
there's so many I haven't seen.
I'm looking forward to see a lot more. Of course, not everyone's perfect, so we're bound to hit, you know, a bad one
at
some point. But I'm sure most of it's going to be great. And he's just great.
Brilliant.
I love everything that I've seen him in so far, and he didn't disappoint in this one. I think this was the first one I've seen in black and white.
Yeah.
And I didn't mind at all. You kind of forget after a while, I guess.
Yeah.
Though there is a digitalized, colorized version, which I would like to see. I would like to see it. Well, it interests me how they do it.
It doesn't interest me. No, it shouldn't be done. Shouldn't be tampered with. That's just me, though.
Anyways, all the characters in it, or at least most of them.
Yeah,
it's just the way it's the story's told. You know, it's kind of smooth in a way.
Yeah. Like
the way it jumps, it's okay for it to jump like that, and it's frustrating because you want him to, you know.
Yeah, that's the thing. George Bailey, the character. He's like the ultimate everyman, the ultimate kind of guy that you root for. You want him to do well in life, and he's so earnest and he's so just, you know, nice, but things keep setting him back. And
if he chose to be selfish, he would have said, "Fuck this."
Right.
I've been waiting so long. I want to do what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
But no, he chooses to stay.
He has a moral code that is very unselfish.
Yes.
And so it's the great moral to the story as well, but it also shows you how much of a toll that's taken on him by the time we get to kind of the beginning of the third act of the film, where he is at his absolute rock bottom, and it's just a great tale.
Which is why the angel is coming.
Yeah, to kind of sort him out, basically. Yeah. And so it's interesting because the first like hour and 30-40 minutes of the film, you could really just cut off the beginning and take out the narration, and it's a great drama film just on its own. But then we have this moment where this angel arrives in the story, and it takes this whole other turn in the third act, and I think that's just what pushes it over the edge to being really special and really enjoyable. And it's just heartwarming, you know, and it's kind of heartbreaking at the same time, and there's a great romance. I really enjoy the romance in the film, like when he first sees this girl, and just like the look on her face when she sees him, just like it looks like love at first sight, kind of just imprinted on the screen for all to see.
And then of course the famous line, "You want the moon? I'll throw a lasso around it," and you know,
yeah, and
that line is from that movie.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's it. It's like, here's looking at you, kid.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Well, not everybody, but it's used in other movies.
Sure.
Like Bruce
Almighty. Yeah.
He actually does it like that and just pulls in the moon, you know.
One thing I want to get out before I forget, I love the dialogue in this film. I love the dialogue because there's lots of times where the characters will kind of not necessarily trip over their words, but they'll but they'll be saying like, you know, you want to. And there's this thing, and they'll kind of, you know, like real people do, they'll start a sentence and then they'll kind of change track a little bit, they'll kind of slightly twist where they're going to go with what they're saying, and then they'll just continue saying it, or they'll stutter a little bit and then continue on. And it's not just the main character, it's other characters too.
That happens when they see each other for the first time.
Yeah.
Because that guy is talking to her, and the way he's talking is like...
Yeah. I mean...
Did he say something wrong? No, but that's what would happen, you know?
I mean, James Stewart is like that a lot anyway with his acting. It's like, wow, you know, he's like that a lot, but it's other characters as well, and so I love the dialogue, and it feels natural and stuff. It's interesting, it feels natural and kind of realistic in a film that has this kind of wishy-washy, like, romanticized feel to it, because there's this villain of the film who's this big-time banker who wants to run the small town out of business, basically, called Potter, and he's just like, he's so over the top, he's like, wah, he's like twisting his face, and he's such a rotten bastard, but the rest of the film is played so fucking earnestly that he works within the film. You don't think, oh, he's a bit over the top. No, it just works for some reason.
I love that his name's Potter.
And yeah, great side performances, you know, the Donna Reed, who plays his love interest, I think she's really good in the film, and then you have his uncle. I love that actor, and I've forgotten his name, which is a real shame, but he's so good in other films from the 30s and 40s, and he's brilliant as George Bailey's uncle. And then there's this small character, I don't know the actor's name, I've even forgotten the character's name, but when we see George Bailey as a young boy, he works at this kind of, this newsagent shop, and there's an old man who runs it, and he has a really interesting story that is vital in the beginning and at the end. And the actor's probably in the film for 5 minutes, and he is fucking incredible. Just so powerful, and
well, that's what happens to old people. They get better at acting because of all the lines in their face.
Now, I did read that apparently he was drunk for real in the first scene that we see him in, but but regardless, I mean, I just think that guy, his role in the story is so pivotal, and he performed perfectly, and whether he was drunk or not, who cares? It worked, right?
I gotta say, I absolutely loved the angel as well.
Oh, brilliant! Yeah, I don't know who he was, but just fantastic performance, and that whole sequence with George Bailey and the angel is just brilliant, so brilliantly done. Everything's brilliant. The way the film looks, it's all a set. The entire town is a set. It's crazy, and
even the kids are really good.
Yeah, there's just really, really strong performances. And I wanted to say this, his mother, George Bailey's mother, is played by an actress called Beulah Bondi. I didn't notice this until near the end of the film, and I nearly lost my shit. I couldn't believe it, because she's in a film from 10 years before this, which I've talked about in the Epic Film Challenge too, Make Way for Tomorrow, and she looks like she's 60, 70 in that film. It is crazy, like, I couldn't believe it, and it's just a testament to Make Way for Tomorrow, because the makeup they did, and her performance in that, acting elderly was ridiculous, because I couldn't believe it was her in It's a Wonderful Life, and she looked so much younger. I wish you could understand and you'd seen it, so you get my shock. In fact, the guy who plays Uncle Billy is in Make Way for Tomorrow as well. Right, so, is it a film you must see before you die? We'll do a little spoiler talk at the end, because I don't want to talk about the ending of the film at all. Yeah, I mean, it's an easy...
That's the only thing I wanted to keep talking about
right now. We will talk about it, but just in case, you know, because it's such a great... It really is a wonderful film. I mean, it's horrible to even say that. I cringed inside saying that, but it's true.
It's the kind of movie I want to show to everyone.
Yes, yes.
But I know that it's not the kind of movie that everyone... There are just people out there who just don't enjoy cinema, I guess.
Right, okay.
And because it's old and in black and white, I know there are going to be people who just can't be bothered, and they're going to sit down and make their mind up before they even watch the movie about not liking it. And I think that would happen. Like, even in my class, I think maybe that could happen. But, like, people who truly does love movies, like you and me, and people who love movies would love this movie.
But I think it goes beyond that. I think this is a film that just families can watch, you know, at Christmas time. And a lot of people call it a Christmas movie. I don't kind of feel like it is. Like, the last act of the film takes place on Christmas Eve, but that doesn't really play into it that much, I don't think.
No.
It's not really a Christmas movie to me, but it's nice to watch at Christmas, I think. Anyway.
It's like You Got Mail for me.
There's
a slight Christmas scene in it, and that's it.
Yeah.
It's a Christmas movie to me.
But yeah, I think it's just such a... I'd love to... Anyone I meet, I'd love to just look at them and know whether they like this movie, because it's just interesting to me. I couldn't imagine anyone watching this and not enjoying it. But I think it's probably the best film I've ever seen that is really overly sentimental, but works completely.
Oh, I want to say something. It's not really a spoiler, but there's a scene between him and his love interest.
Yeah.
Which is so intense. Nothing really happens.
Yeah.
But he plays it so...
Are you talking about the phone call sequence?
The phone call scene.
Brilliant. It's
fantastic. My god! It was like with the Hannibal scene where she touches his finger.
Yeah.
I felt like a flutter inside. I was like,
it's brilliant. It's so well done.
Do something, you know? That was like the best acting in the whole movie almost to me, because
it's one of the best scenes.
I held my breath, I think. A tiny bit.
Yeah.
He was just great. She was good too.
Yeah.
But I just love James Stewart.
Yes.
If I was like 20... Oh. If I was me, in the 40s, he would probably be like Leonardo DiCaprio or something.
Oh, yeah.
2000s and stuff like that, because he would just be... Like, there would be posters all over him, probably.
Yeah. I can see that, yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
So, is it a film you should see before you die?
Yeah, of course it is. What was the point of asking?
Yeah, it is. It's redundant to say.
The way we're talking about it.
I know. Absolutely. Yeah, definitely. So, we'll now talk a little bit of spoilers. So, you've seen the film, and the ending, you know, he's gonna kill himself. He's been driven to such depths, and it's horrible to see him when in that scene where he is snapping at his kids, and he's pissed off at his wife and stuff, and you're thinking, this isn't him, but you understand why he's been driven to this, because of the money that's been lost, and it's just it's so heartbreaking, and he's done, he's finished, and I love how he isn't just going to kill himself because he's done with it and he doesn't want to deal with it. He wants to kill himself so his family will get the money, right? So even it's still to if he was to go through it, at the very end, he's still being unselfish about it. But
that makes it more heartbreaking.
Yeah,
anyway.
And then the angel turns up, and then the fun really begins, and you know they really drag out him really, and I love that. I love how they drag out him buying that this is an angel, because that's what you do in real life. Even if you did see some weird stuff that you couldn't explain, how does he know this about me? You'd wave it off. Oh, there must be some explanation.
Yeah.
Really takes its time before he.
Did you drug me? What did you put?
Yeah. Oh, and just as a side thing, the scene when he's in the bar just before he's about to go to the bridge, and he's just almost praying, and there's tears coming out of his eyes. I just think it's one of the best performances like I've ever seen. I just think he's so great at being like fun and kind of charming and all that kind of stuff, but then also being devastated and being angry, all these emotions.
When he's hugging his kid as well, I think that was pretty powerful.
Very, very powerful. It's ridiculous.
You can tell like the kid's like almost like Lily, like, what are you doing?
Yeah. So the ending of the film, the very end, you know, he gets that second chance. It's almost like the what's that classic Christmas story that with Scrooge, Christmas Carol. Is that what it is? Yeah. You know, he gets to see what his life would be like if he'd never been born, and it's such a simple yet powerful message, I think, because I think a lot of people, if they get depressed and stuff, they start to think, you know, why should I even be around and stuff. But to really think about it, if you weren't around, it would have so many different ramifications on all the people around you.
Yeah,
and
you affect
you do
everyone you meet.
Well, of course you affect everyone you meet, but it's you would leave such a hole. And so I think anyone watching this film who's in a dark place in their life, it might really help them. I do. And then at the end, you know, the day is saved, and everything that he's done throughout his entire life, this unselfish life, has been paid forward to him at the time when he needs it the most, when all the village, the town, I should say, they all come and they give him their money because he's been so true to them and so loyal to them throughout all the stuff. And it goes with, you know, the business and things like that, but it's one of those endings where it is hard not to get choked up by, you know. And again it's very much the kind of Hollywood, like, oh, sappy ending, but
no, but it's not like it's not sad. It's just so.
Yeah, no, yeah. I'm not saying it's a sad ending. It's
happy.
It's an unbelievably happy ending. Yeah. I mean, you get choked up because it's so great. Yeah, great and moving.
So touching, and I was sitting there and I was actually holding back a little bit because I thought, well, what's wrong with me? Like, there was a movie we watched where I actually did cry. Yeah. And you were like, well, if you didn't cry, then it would be weird or something. I don't know. But I was just thinking, will he find it weird that I almost cried now? That I'm actually holding back like this lump in my throat? Yeah. And so when it was done, I was like, I just feel like crying or something. Yeah. And he's like, oh yeah. Yeah. I was like, oh, so it's not just me then. Yeah,
when I first saw it, it was extremely difficult to hold things in. Like, it just hit me like a ton of bricks. Yeah. And then the second time watching it, I thought, well, that's not going to be bad this time. But I tell you what, as the film started, even in the beginning scenes, just every now and again I get that little, just knowing where it was going, and just like, I don't know, it affected me even more because I knew what was going to happen, and just kind of seeing those moments of you know, it's a brilliant film, and it's such an earnest film, and that's why it works. Yeah. And if you don't feel moved by this film, then you have a heart of stone, as they say. So yeah, anything else you want to add?
I guess not. Well, I could add a lot. There's like the house and the.
There's just so many great scenes in the film. It's just a series of great scenes, and so we could sit here and talk about the whole film. So
I look forward to seeing more of James Stewart.
Yeah, we've just talked ourselves into silence now. We don't know what more to say about it, really. It's a fantastic film. I would definitely put it in probably my top 20 favourites, I think, and it's one of those films that is talked about, is seen as a classic, and it more than lives up to the hype that precedes it. And that's all there is to say, I guess. So, thank you for watching. See you in the next one. And I don't know how much I'll cut that out. And I don't know what, fucking hell. And I don't know what much. Why can't I English?
Shouldn't have to stand for it.
I shouldn't have to stand for it.